The world is full of noise. Everyone is talking, watching, doubting, judging, comparing, and wasting. But while they chase attention, you must chase mastery. While they waste hours, you must grow in silence. Or while they look around, you must look within. Because until you focus on you, ruthlessly, relentlessly, and obsessively, you will never win. Winning is not about beating others. It's about beating the voice inside you that tells you to quit. That voice that whispers, rest now. That voice that says, you're good enough. No, you're not here to be good enough. You're here to be undeniable, unshakable, unstoppable. You win when you shut down that inner weakness and replace it with purpose, with control, with an unbreakable will. Most people don't fail because of a lack of talent. They fail because they're busy watching others. They fail because they can't stop scrolling, can't stop comparing, can't stop trying to be everything but themselves. Your life is not a group project. Your mission is not a community poll. No one is supposed to understand you until it's done. Focus on you. They'll understand when you win. Success is quiet. It does not scream. It waits for those who are patient, who grind when no one claps, who wake up when no one's watching. There is no applause in the dark, but that's where champions are made. You have to earn the right to be seen by first disappearing into discipline. That's what it means to focus on you. It means disappearing from the crowd so you can reappear as a different creature. Every day you waste is a step away from the life you could have built. Every excuse you speak poisons your momentum. Either you train your mind to work for you or it will break you. Either you hold your focus like a weapon or life will tear your future apart. You cannot expect power from a scattered mind. You cannot build an empire with divided attention. There is a time to serve others, but this is not that time. This is the season to lock in, to block out the world and build, to sacrifice popularity for purpose, to stop explaining and start executing, to stop hoping and start hammering. Every goal has a price, and the currency is focus. Nothing great is built with convenience. You will miss parties, you will be misunderstood, you will walk alone. But you will rise, you will gain clarity, you will create results. And those results will speak louder than any words. The world bows to those who finish what they started, and finishers are always focused. Let others be loud, let them talk, let them laugh, let them doubt. You are not them. You are not built for the average life. You are forged for greatness. But greatness is not given. It is claimed through pain, through obsession, through months and years of being underestimated. And the only way to survive that fire is to stay focused. You don't need more motivation. You need brutal clarity. You need to wake up and realize that every distraction you allow is stealing your destiny. You need to decide that your future matters more than temporary pleasure. You need to cut off every voice, every comfort, every excuse that keeps you weak. You need to become addicted to progress. Your path will test you. Your faith will be challenged. The results won't always be fast, but you must outlast the drought. Winners don't quit in silence. They build in silence. They persist in silence. They dominate in silence. And one day the silence explodes into victory. That is how you win. There is no more time to waste. Not another hour. Not another breath. If you want it, you lock in now. You guard your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. You train your thoughts like a warrior sharpens his blade, because your thoughts create your reality. You act like your goals are non-negotiable, because they are. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm not coming this far just to come this far. Or say it again. Then act like it, focus like it, show up like it, until you win. Your mind is the battlefield. It is not the world outside that decides your fate. It's the war inside your own head. Every morning you wake up, there is a silent enemy waiting. Doubt, fear, laziness, distraction. These enemies do not shout. They whisper. They creep in quietly and slowly take control if you let them. That's why the first victory of every day must be within your own thoughts. If you cannot dominate your mind, you will never dominate your life. The man who cannot command himself is always a slave to something else. The battlefield is invisible, but the consequences are real. Your income, your body, your relationships, your results, everything is the reflection of whether you win that battle or lose it. This is not poetry. This is principle. No enemy can touch a person who controls their own focus, their own emotions, their own mental world. If you fail in the mind, you will fail in the mission. Your mind wants comfort. It wants ease. It wants approval. But your vision requires pain. It requires isolation. It requires tunnel vision so narrow that most people will call it obsession. Let them call it what they want. They don't have your destiny. They don't have your fire. You were not designed for a diluted life, begging for the scraps of people who gave up on themselves. You were built to rise without noise, to suffer without applause, to master yourself so completely that the world must eventually bow, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it in silence. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you win. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you win. Every time you do the hard thing when no one is watching, you win. Success is not in the spotlight. It is forged in the unseen hours when your mind is screaming to quit and you keep going anyway. The difference between those who break through and those who break down is not talent. It is not luck. It is not some secret formula. It is focus. Ruthless, unbreakable, violent focus. The kind that ignores what doesn't matter. The kind that says no without guilt. The kind that will starve every weakness until only strength remains. You must become so focused on your path that the noise of the world fades into silence. People will misunderstand you. They will mock your silence. They will question your distance. Let them. You are not building for their approval. You are building for your purpose. You are not here to entertain. You are here to evolve. You are not available for anything that doesn't move you forward. That is the price. That is the test. If you can pass that test, no force can stop you. Excuses will dress themselves up like logic. Fear will pretend to be caution. Weakness will wear the mask of humility. See through it all, call it what it is, and destroy it. You were not born to live on your knees. You were not made to shrink. You were created with the seed of greatness inside you, and every day you choose mediocrity, you betray that gift. Focus is not about how long you can look at a goal. It's about how long you can walk toward it without turning around. While others start and stop, you finish. While others get bored, you build. While others wait for motivation, you move with intention. The mind that is trained to finish will never lose, because the world will always belong to the finisher, to the one who outlasts the season of doubt, the one who walks through the storm without blinking, the one who hears the voice of fear and answers it with action. Most people will never win because they never shut out the world long enough to listen to themselves. They drown in opinions. They seek approval like air. They change their vision every time the crowd shifts. But not you, not now. Now is the season of isolation, the season of silence, the season where you become so focused on building yourself that the world forgets your name until they can't. There is no fast track. There is only forward. Every step matters. Every choice matters. And the only way to rise is to make your mind your strongest ally. When the battle gets hard, go harder. When the distractions get loud, shut them out. When it gets lonely, get stronger. That is the path. That is the way. You don't owe anyone explanations. You don't owe anyone access. You only owe the mission your full attention, your full energy, your full commitment. You do not need more inspiration. You need more execution. You need to become dangerous in your focus. You need to stop talking about it and start becoming it. Let your transformation make the noise. Let your results be your revenge. Let your discipline speak louder than every doubt ever thrown at you. People will not understand. That's good. You are not for them. You are not walking this path to be seen. You are walking it to become something that cannot be shaken, to become something that cannot be ignored, to become the kind of soul that doesn't flinch under pressure, doesn't fold in the face of setbacks, doesn't break at the sound of silence. You do not need a cheerleader. You need a mirror. And in that mirror, you must see a fighter, a force, a future legend who chose focus over everything else. There are no secrets, just sacrifices, no shortcuts, just steps, no luck, just relentless action repeated day after day until the goal is crushed and the doubt is dead. This is not motivation for the moment. This is a mindset for life. You are not here to flirt with your potential. You are here to marry it, or to live with it, to fight for it. And that fight starts and ends with your focus. No more hoping, no more waiting, no more explaining. From this moment forward, everything you want is on the other side of your complete and total mental discipline. You will win, but only if you focus on you until it's done. Silence the noise, because the noise is not just around you, it is inside you. It's the echo of every doubt you've ever heard, every limitation you've ever believed, every distraction that disguised itself as an opportunity. The world is loud, but your greatness is quiet. Your future is quiet. Your transformation is not found in what they say. It is found in what you choose to ignore. You cannot rise if you keep listening to everything that tries to pull you down. You cannot evolve if your mind is constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions. There comes a time in your life where the voices around you must go silent. A time when you stop letting everyone's opinion vote on your destiny. That time is now. The world is full of noise, but if you want to hear your purpose clearly, you have to mute the chaos and listen to your calling. Distractions will come dressed as urgency. Opinions will come disguised as concern. Lies will arrive wearing the mask of logic. But you must see through it all. You must train your focus like a warrior trains his sword. Ruthless, sharp, ready for anything. Most people lose not because they lack the talent, not because they lack the opportunity, but because they never mastered the art of silence. They never learned how to close the door on things that do not serve their highest path. They let everything in. Every text, every trend, every toxic voice. And then they wonder why they feel empty, scattered, weak. The truth is simple. You are what you consume. You are what you allow into your space, into your ears, into your thoughts. If you want to be strong, you must first be selective. If you want to grow, you must create space where growth can breathe. That space is born in silence. They will try to pull you back. They will mock your distance. They will take your silence personally. Let them. You are not here to explain. You are here to execute. You are not here to fit in. You are here to rise up. And sometimes rising means going dark. It means becoming unavailable to anything that interrupts your rhythm. You were not built for constant access. You were not built to be everyone's emotional support system while your own soul starves. Focus is a sacred thing, and silence is its shield. You owe no one your energy while you are building. You owe no one your response while you are growing. This season is not for noise. It's for work. It's for strategy. It's for sweat. And that work demands a mind that is still enough to think clearly, hear deeply, and move intentionally. Every great transformation begins in the dark. Not with applause, not with permission, but with a quiet decision to lock in, shut down the outside world, and bet everything on yourself. This is the season of sacred isolation, not to escape the world, but to rebuild for it. You must get silent enough to hear your real hunger, loud enough to drown out distraction, but quiet enough to recognize alignment. Everyone else is chasing attention, but you are chasing power. Everyone else is talking, but you are moving. They don't need to know what you're doing. They'll know when it's done. Until then, let your silence be your boundary. Let your silence be your focus. Let your silence be your weapon. It's easy to follow the noise, to get pulled by headlines, to become addicted to updates, but that path leads nowhere. The noise will always change. The trends will always shift. The crowd will always move. But your mission must stay still, grounded, anchored in something deeper than popularity, anchored in truth, anchored in vision. You do not need to chase anything. You need only to build what cannot be taken, what cannot be ignored. That kind of power is not found in external validation. It is found in the depths of silence, where all the best work is done. You must become so focused that peace becomes your fuel and noise becomes irrelevant. There will be moments when silence feels like loneliness, when isolation feels like exile, when the lack of approval feels like punishment. But it is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the cocoon before the flight, the cave before the breakthrough, the discomfort before the dominance. Most people escape the silence too early. They can't stand the emptiness, so they run back to the noise, and that's where they die, slowly, quietly, without ever becoming who they were meant to be. But not you. You will endure. You will sit with the silence until it bends in your favor. You will stare into your fears until they disappear. You will get so familiar with the quiet that you begin to hear your own voice again. Not the voice shaped by others, but the one you were born with. That voice will guide you, but only if you silence the rest. Don't answer every call. Don't react to every notification. Don't chase every opinion. Most of it doesn't matter. Most of it is noise meant to pull you off track. Every second you give away is energy stolen from your mission. And your mission requires all of you, not part of you, not the distracted version of you, the full, focused, present version. That version is born in silence. That version does not live for attention. It lives for completion, for legacy, for something eternal. The world may never reward silence, but it will bow to the results of those who master it. Your power is not in how loud you speak. It's in how clearly you move when no one is watching. The time has come to shut the world out and go inward, not to hide, but to build, not to disappear, but to return stronger, not to quit, but to become so great that silence was the only way to get there. Master yourself first, because the world will always try to master you if you don't. Every weakness you ignore becomes a chain around your progress. Every emotion you don't control becomes a weapon turned against your future. Every habit you let slide becomes an anchor that holds your destiny underwater. You do not conquer anything in this life until you conquer yourself. Before you try to lead, build, influence, create, or rise, you must first dominate the man within. Because the enemy is not out there. The enemy is your comfort. The enemy is your delay. The enemy is your undisciplined mind pretending to care while secretly killing your time. And until you face it head on, you will forever be stuck, repeating the same cycles, with different goals and the same excuses. Mastery is not gifted. It is earned in private wars. It's not given through motivation. It's carved through repetition. It's the pain of doing what you said you'd do long after the feeling is left. It's the strength to keep walking into the fire of discipline when the world offers comfort as an escape. It's the control to act from vision rather than emotion. And no one sees it, no one claps for it. But that's the point. Mastery doesn't need attention. It doesn't seek praise. It is silent, cold, brutal in its consistency. And when the work is done, the results speak so loudly, the world can't ignore what was built in darkness. You are not weak. You are undisciplined. You are not lost. You are distracted. You are not incapable. You are comfortable. And as long as you accept these states as facts, you will never rise beyond them. You must break the agreement you made with your lesser self, the one that told you it was okay to settle, the one that told you later was a plan, the one that whispered excuses and wore them like armor. You rip that armor off by doing the hard things repeatedly until they become effortless. You retrain your nervous system to obey your vision. You force your actions to align with your purpose. And in time, the old version of you dies. That is mastery. The death of the excuse-driven self and the rise of the chosen one. There is no success without self-command. The man who cannot say no to temptation cannot say yes to greatness. If your habits own you, your future does not belong to you. Every choice you make either feeds your greatness or feeds your destruction. You must become the kind of person who follows through no matter how you feel. Because feelings lie, they shift, they fade. But purpose is permanent. Purpose is steel. You anchor yourself in purpose, and your emotions become irrelevant. You do not need to feel like it to do it. You need to do it to become the kind of person who no longer waits for feelings. People will always look for shortcuts. They'll ask for the hacks, the cheat codes, the fastest way to change their lives. But the truth is simple, and it is brutal. There is no hack. There is only the disciplined version of you, the one who wakes up early when it's cold, the one who says no when it's tempting, the one who trains when they're tired, the one who shows up again and again until they forget how to quit. That version of you is not born in comfort. It is forged in repetition, in saying yes to the standard even when your body screams no. And once you become that person, once you master that version, you are dangerous. Because the world has no defense for a man who doesn't need external permission to move forward. Mastery means holding the line when no one else is watching. It means showing up with excellence when no one claps, no one praises, and no one believes in you but you. It means locking in so deeply that failure becomes irrelevant, because quitting was never an option to begin with. Our mastery turns you into a machine, not cold but committed, not numb but focused. You feel everything, but you move anyway. You hurt, but you rise anyway. You doubt, but you execute anyway. That is the difference. That is what makes you untouchable. Not because you are perfect, but because you are unshakable in your practice. There is no prize for potential. The world doesn't pay you for what you could be. It pays you for what you've proven. And you prove it through mastery, through the quiet repetition of becoming so good they can't ignore you, through showing up so often that your name becomes impossible to forget. Mastery isn't about talent, it's about self-respect. It's about living in alignment with what you say you value. If you say you want it but never sacrifice for it, you're lying to yourself. And that lie grows like a cancer, slowly killing your fire from the inside out. But once you master yourself, truly master yourself, your words match your actions, your thoughts match your goals, and your habits match your destiny, you won't get there overnight. Mastery takes time. It takes pain. It takes a brutal level of honesty with yourself. It's not about being harder on yourself. It's about being real. Because no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to make you consistent. No one's going to build your legacy but you. And you either do the work or you don't. You either live in regret or you live in reward. Every day is a test. Every moment is a chance to build the man you were supposed to be. No more delays, no more distractions, no more giving your power away. Master yourself first, and everything else follows. Energy is sacred because once it's wasted, it never returns. Every moment you spend on the wrong thing is energy stolen from the right thing. Every argument, every distraction, every meaningless interaction is a theft from your future. You don't need more time. You need fewer leaks, fewer emotional drains, fewer open doors to people and situations that don't multiply your strength. If your energy is your fuel, then your boundaries are the tank. You must protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. The weak chase everything. The strong preserve themselves. And the ones who win are the ones who learn to treat their energy as the most valuable currency in existence. You cannot give everything your attention and expect to rise. You cannot be available to everyone and still be devoted to yourself. The world will pull at you constantly, asking for your time, your thoughts, your emotions, but you must learn to say no without guilt. You are not selfish for protecting your purpose. You are strategic, because greatness doesn't come to the one who is everywhere. It comes to the one who chooses where they are with ruthless intent. If you keep pouring into things that drain you, you will never have enough left to pour into what builds you. That is the truth people avoid. That is the reason most will never see what they're truly capable of becoming. Energy is not just about action, it's about direction. You can be busy and go nowhere. You can work hard and still build someone else's dream. But when your energy is focused, clean, and intentional, it becomes a weapon. It becomes the force behind your vision, the fire that moves mountains, the reason you keep going when others fall off. But that power can't grow in chaos. It can't thrive in noise. You must learn to cleanse your space, your schedule, your soul. You must let go of everything that scatters you so you can rise in alignment with what truly matters. Every relationship you allow affects your energy. Every conversation plants a seed. Some seeds grow into strength. Others grow into doubt, into fear, into confusion. You must become a gardener of your own soul. Pull the weeds early. Don't entertain energy that weakens you just because it's familiar. Don't cling to people who drain you just because you once needed them. You are not obligated to carry what you've outgrown. You are not required to explain your boundaries to those who benefited from your lack of them. Energy is sacred, and it is your responsibility to keep it clean. There will always be distractions disguised as opportunities. Always people who want access without earning it. Always noise that sounds like relevance but leads nowhere. You must rise above it. You must become the kind of person who lives by principle, not popularity. The kind of person who doesn't react to everything, who isn't pulled by trends, who knows their path and protects it. Because energy leaks through reaction. And when you spend your life reacting, you stop creating. You stop building. You stop becoming. And in that space, your dreams quietly begin to die. You owe it to your future to guard your present. You owe it to your legacy to be selective with your energy. That means walking away from arguments that serve no purpose. That means turning off the noise and turning inward. That means having the courage to be misunderstood by people who no longer match your frequency. Because the next level of your life demands a new level of self-respect, a new level of decisiveness, a new level of intentional solitude where your energy is purified and prepared for something far greater. You can always tell how far someone will go by how they protect their energy. The ones who drift give it away carelessly. The ones who rise preserve it like gold. It's not about how loud you are, it's about how clean your inner space is. A focused soul doesn't need to prove anything. They don't waste words. They don't chase validation. They move with quiet power because their energy is concentrated, unleaked, undivided, directed toward the goal with absolute precision. That kind of presence shakes the world, not because it asks to, but because it cannot be ignored. There is nothing more powerful than a human being who owns their energy, who stops apologizing for resting, who stops explaining why they chose peace over popularity, who stops showing up for everything and starts showing up only for what matters. That person becomes dangerous, not to others, but to mediocrity, to distraction, to the part of themselves that once settled for less. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to do everything. You need to align. You need to simplify. You need to pour into what actually creates momentum. Energy is sacred, and when you treat it that way, life begins to respond differently. So step back. Look at where your energy is going. Audit every commitment. Question every interaction. Ask yourself if it's fueling you or draining you, and be willing to walk away from anything that doesn't light you up. Your future is too important. Your purpose is too heavy. Your mission is too real. There is no room for emotional freeloaders, no room for recycled conversations, no room for distractions in disguise. From this moment on, protect your energy like your soul depends on it. Because everything you're building does repetition, builds power, because what you do once means nothing compared to what you do every day. One moment of action changes little, but consistent, deliberate action over time changes everything. Most people fail not because they lack knowledge, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack consistency. They do a thing once, feel the discomfort, and run back to comfort. But the ones who win, the ones who rise, dominate, and leave legacy, are the ones who repeat. They repeat the discipline. They repeat the sacrifice. They repeat the uncomfortable action long enough for it to become second nature. Power is not found in intensity. It is found in repetition. The world wants quick. It celebrates flashes of greatness. One viral moment, one big win. But true greatness doesn't flash. It compounds. It stacks. It builds on itself silently until the weight of consistency becomes undeniable. You don't need to do everything. You need to do the right things over and over again, with focus, with fire, with absolute commitment to mastery. Repetition creates identity, and your identity is what you fall back on when the pressure hits. You won't rise to your goals. You will fall to your standards. And your standards are built in repetition. No one becomes a master through motivation. They become a master through training, through repeating what others find boring, through showing up again and again long after the excitement is gone, because repetition isn't glamorous, it's not exciting, it's not loud, it's quiet, hard, sometimes brutal. But it works. The strongest minds, the fiercest warriors, the most disciplined souls, they all understand this truth. Excellence is not a performance. It's a pattern, a system, a commitment to doing the work so often, so precisely, that excellence becomes inevitable. You cannot fake repetition. You cannot cheat consistency. There is no shortcut to becoming undeniable. Repetition exposes the truth. If you're pretending, it will show. If you're lying to yourself, it will show. If you're avoiding the work, it will show. But if you're real, if your hunger is true and your focus unbreakable, then repetition becomes your ally. It becomes the quiet engine behind your power. Each rep, each day, each small effort adds weight to the version of you that is too focused to fail. Pain comes. Doubt comes. Distractions come. But repetition teaches your mind to move anyway, to show up when it's hard, to build when it's boring, to push when there's no applause. That kind of repetition transforms you. It reprograms the system. It kills the old version of you, the weak one, the inconsistent one, and breathes life into the one you were meant to become. You're not trying to win once. You're trying to build a life that wins by default, and that only happens through repetition. Think of every legend, every icon, every person who shaped their own reality. None of them got there by doing the work once. They lived in repetition. They lived in routine. They became obsessed with execution. They understood that momentum is not magic. It's movement multiplied. And every time they repeated the action, their identity hardened, their mind sharpened, their edge grew stronger, until they couldn't be touched, not because they were born different, but because they trained differently. Repetition does not ask for perfection. It asks for persistence. It asks that you show up when it's inconvenient, that you commit when it's hard, that you practice when no one sees it. Because all those unseen repetitions become the foundation of the performance the world will one day watch. What you repeat in private will determine what you become in public. What you do when no one's watching is the only thing that matters when everyone finally is. Your mind will resist it. It will say you've done enough. It will say rest now. It will say this one day off won't matter. That's the trap. That's the voice of mediocrity pretending to protect you. But you are not here to be protected. You are here to be transformed. And transformation is not gentle. It's repetitive. It's daily. It's a process of breaking the old you so the new one can breathe. So you do it again and again and again, until even your fears start to obey. Every rep is a vote for the man you are becoming, a vote for the standard you are building, a vote for the power that cannot be taken from you. There are no wasted reps. There are only unseen victories, quiet wins, silent shifts in identity. And one day, without warning, you wake up different. You move different. You speak different, not because of one big moment, but because of 1,000 small ones stacked on top of each other until your reality can't help but change. There is no destiny without discipline, no greatness without grind, or no power without pattern. Repetition is how you turn possibility into reality. It is how you crush the doubt, silence the excuses, and replace weakness with habit. It is the long game, the eternal weapon, the way out of mediocrity and into mastery. Not someday, not when it's convenient. Now, again, and again. Until there's no gap between what you want and who you are, your time is currency. And every second you spend is a transaction with your future. What you trade your time for today will either pay you back with power or punish you with regret. There is no refund for wasted time, no return policy on years given to distractions, no second chance at yesterday's choices. Time is the only asset that disappears the moment you look away, and yet most people treat it like it's unlimited. They scroll through hours, talk in circles, invest in nonsense, and then wonder why they feel empty, behind, unfulfilled. The truth is brutal. Your time is either building your future or burying your potential. And every day you decide which one it's going to be. You don't lose life in years. You lose it in minutes, in seconds, in small daily transactions that feel harmless but add up like compound debt. The conversation you knew wasn't worth it. The meeting you didn't need to take. The distraction you let in when you were supposed to be locked in. The commitment you said yes to when you should have been building. People love to say time is money, but time is more than money. It's life. You can get money back. You can't recover time. You can't rewind progress. You can't undo wasted hours. Once it's spent, it's gone, and the only thing that remains is what you built with it, or what you didn't. When you begin to treat your time like it's sacred, everything changes. You stop explaining yourself. You stop trying to please people who don't understand your mission. You stop entertaining anything that doesn't elevate your vision. You stop showing up where you're not growing. You stop answering to energy that doesn't multiply your focus. You realize that not everyone deserves access to your hours. Not every opportunity deserves your presence. Not every request is your responsibility. You start to guard your time the same way a soldier guards his post, because you know one wrong moment of distraction can destroy everything you've worked for. You can measure someone's future by what they do with their time when no one's watching. It's easy to look productive when the spotlight's on. It's easy to move with urgency when the deadline is near. But the ones who win are the ones who manage their time with precision even when no one's checking. They don't wait for pressure to show up. They bring pressure to themselves. They build like the clock is always ticking because it is. And that urgency becomes their advantage. While others relax, they rise. While others waste time deciding, they're already executing. They're not perfect. They're prepared. And that preparation gives them an edge that time rewards. The world is full of distractions wrapped in urgency. People will act like everything needs your attention right now. But not everything urgent is important, and not everything important needs you. You need to learn the discipline of saying no. No to fake emergencies. No to people who misuse your energy. No to obligations that don't align with your highest standard. Every time you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. And if you keep saying yes to distractions, you are saying no to your greatness. You are saying no to your potential. You are saying no to your future. Protect your time like a gatekeeper, because what you allow through that gate will shape the kingdom you're trying to build. Time is the great equalizer. Everyone gets the same 24 hours, but not everyone uses them the same way. Some people invest, some people waste, some people build, some people coast. The difference is not in what they have, it's in how they value what they have. If you saw your time as the most valuable currency on earth, you'd stop trading it for comfort. You'd stop using it to run from your calling. You'd stop letting it leak through meaningless activities that don't push you forward. Time is always telling the truth. It reveals priorities. It exposes habits. It announces whether you are serious about your goals or just dreaming out loud. Don't wait for life to shake you into urgency. Don't wait for crisis to remind you that time is limited. Don't wait until you've lost years to look back and wish you had moved faster, focused harder, aimed higher. The time is now. The opportunity is in this second. You don't need a new calendar to start. You don't need a new year to shift. You need clarity. You need commitment. You need to act like every hour matters, because it does. One focused hour can change your month. One disciplined day can change your momentum. One unstoppable week can begin a new life. But none of that happens unless you decide to spend your time like your future depends on it. There are two kinds of people in this world: those who waste time waiting for the right conditions, and those who use time to create them, those who say someday, and those who say now, those who talk about what they're going to do, and those who are too busy doing it. You must choose, or you must decide what kind of life your time is going to buy, because the cost is already being deducted. Every second is an investment. Make sure you're buying something that outlives you. Make sure the price you're paying is building something you'll be proud of. Your time is currency, and it's already being spent. Spend it on purpose. Outgrow excuses, because every excuse you keep is a chain around your potential. Excuses feel comfortable, they sound logical, and they offer short-term relief, but they are the silent killers of progress. Every time you make an excuse, you reinforce a story that limits you. Every time you defend your limits, you strengthen the walls of your own cage. Excuses are not harmless. They are lethal. They convince you that tomorrow is always available, that conditions will someday be perfect, that someone else is responsible for your lack of results. But power doesn't live in that mindset. Ownership does. And until you outgrow the need to explain your weakness, you will never step into the force of your strength. The mind that relies on excuses is a mind still stuck in survival. It has not yet decided to rise. It is still more committed to being right than being great. But the truth is, you can't be both. You can't hold on to your reasons and your results. You can't serve your potential and your pain at the same time. One must die. And the one that lives is the one you feed. If you feed your excuses, they will grow. They will evolve into habits, into identities, into lifestyles. Before long, they become who you are. But if you feed your discipline, if you feed your vision, if you feed the part of you that wants to be free, then the excuses begin to shrink. They begin to sound pathetic. They begin to die. Excuses are clever. They dress themselves in good intentions. They come disguised as plans, as waiting for the right time, as protecting your energy. But underneath all that is one thing: fear. Fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of responsibility. But fear has no power unless you feed it. And you feed it every time you say, I can't, I'm too tired, it's not the right moment, they won't understand, I'm waiting for clarity. No, you're waiting for comfort. You're waiting to feel ready. But readiness is a trap. You're never ready. You just start. You outgrow your excuses by acting in spite of them. You destroy them by doing the thing they told you was impossible. You can't outwork an excuse you're still protecting. You can't rise while explaining why you haven't. Every second spent justifying your inaction is a second stolen from your momentum. The people who succeed are not the ones who had no reason to quit. They're the ones who refused to listen to those reasons. They looked at their excuses and said, not today. They looked at their setbacks and said, this is fuel. They looked at their story and rewrote it with action. No one will hand you freedom. You earn it by taking absolute ownership of where you are, how you got here, and what you're willing to do to never stay here again. Stop romanticizing your struggles. Stop building an identity around what hurt you. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are not the things that happened to you. You are what you decide to become next. And you cannot become that version of yourself while still making excuses for the version you're trying to escape. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You need more honesty. You need to look in the mirror and admit that your excuses have been stealing your power and you've been letting them. That changes today. That changes the moment you stop giving your energy to the stories that keep you small. The road will never be perfect. The timing will never be ideal. The support will not always be there. But you still move. You still build. You still rise because your purpose is bigger than your pain. And that is what it means to outgrow excuses. You stop negotiating with your vision. You stop waiting for permission. You stop needing ideal circumstances. And you start becoming the kind of person who creates results regardless of what stands in the way. That person doesn't need sympathy. That person doesn't need reassurance. That person only needs a mission and a mirror, and both are already in front of you. Every day you have two choices: stay where you are or outgrow what's holding you back. There is no in-between. Progress is not complicated. It is just uncomfortable. And most people trade their future for comfort. But not you. Not anymore. You've already seen what staying the same costs. You've already lived what playing small feels like. You've already tasted what settling leads to. That's why you can't go back. That's why the excuses must die. That's why you show up even when you don't feel like it. Because feelings are fleeting, but consequences are permanent. There is power waiting for you on the other side of every excuse. Power in the action you've avoided. Power in the decision you've delayed. Power in the truth you've refused to speak. But you don't access that power by thinking about it. You access it by doing what your excuses tell you not to do, by getting up when your body wants rest, by speaking up when your mind says stay silent, by going further when comfort says stop. That is how you outgrow excuses, not in theory, in execution, not someday, now, again and again. Until excuses are no longer part of your language, your identity or your reality suffer now or suffer forever, because pain is not optional. Only its timing is. You can choose the temporary suffering of discipline today, or you will be forced to endure the permanent suffering of regret tomorrow. One ends, the other never does. One builds you. The other breaks you slowly while you smile through a life you secretly hate. The hard truth is that the pain of effort, sacrifice, rejection, and isolation will pass. But the pain of staying the same will follow you like a shadow that never leaves. The world doesn't spare anyone from struggle. It just lets you choose whether your suffering makes you stronger or slowly destroys you. Most people run from hard things thinking they're avoiding pain, but all they're doing is choosing a different kind of pain, the kind that waits. The kind that shows up in your 40 seconds, 50 seconds, or in your final breath when you realize you never became who you were supposed to be. You were designed to stretch, to strain, to burn through discomfort to reach the higher version of yourself. But every time you skip the struggle, you skip your evolution. Every time you choose easy, you choose average. Every time you back down from pressure, you lose the power that pressure was trying to give you. This is not about masochism, it's about math. The math of success says pain now equals peace later, but peace now equals pain forever. You can cry in the gym or cry in the mirror. You can suffer through the work or suffer through the consequences of not working. Either way, you will feel it. But only one of those paths leads to strength. Only one of those paths makes the pain worth it. Discipline hurts. Focus hurts. Pushing through resistance hurts. But it's clean pain. It's pain with a purpose. It's pain that creates. Regret is different. Regret is filthy. It's silent. It corrodes from the inside. It shows up when there's nothing left to do but look back. And when it shows up, it's always too late. That's why you must suffer now. Not because life is cruel, but because greatness is costly. You think you're avoiding pain by skipping the hard days, the early mornings, the lonely work. But you're not escaping it, you're postponing it, you're stacking it. You're compounding the suffering into something far more brutal. When you say not today, what you're really saying is let me suffer later deeper with less power to change it. The suffering you avoid today becomes the suffering you inherit tomorrow, but the suffering you choose today becomes the strength you carry for life. You must pick one. And the time to choose is now. The grind will test you. The pressure will make you question everything. The sacrifice will make you feel like quitting, but that's the price. That's the toll you pay to never again be ordinary. Nobody climbs without bleeding. Nobody wins without scars. The path to excellence is stained with sweat, tears, and failure, but it leads somewhere. It leads to peace, to power, to a life that's earned, a life that is built on effort, not excuses, on choices, not chance. And if you can hold the pain, endure the silence, and stay loyal to your goals while everything in you wants to run, you become unstoppable. The truth most people avoid is that freedom is expensive. The price is discipline. The price is saying no when others say yes. The price is giving up comfort when it calls you like a siren back into weakness. You cannot have both. You cannot have the results without the suffering that creates them. This is why the world is filled with talkers and light-on doers. Because everyone wants the reward, but only a few want the pain. And that pain is where everything